Thank you for having me, and it's my great honor to give this speech to talk about inner source in China, the past, present, and the future. I will give a quick go through about the journey of inner source in China, to say how these technical companies adopt inner source and how this changed their company culture and how this inner source developed in China. Let me introduce myself a little bit. Uh, my name is Tan Zhongyi. This is my Chinese name, and my English name is Jerry Tan. So you can call me Jerry. And currently, I'm the Executive Vice Secretary General of COPU, China Open Source Promotion Union. It's one of the soft open source organization in China. It's a non-government organization with more than 20 years histories. It was considered the central hub of China open source ecosystem. Besides that, I'm also a member of Apache Software Foundation and the InnerSource Commerce Foundation. And also, I'm the TOC chair, Technical Oversight Committee of Open Atom Foundation. It's a software foundation built by China. And currently, I have more than 20 years experience in open source at Sun Microsystem, Baidu, and Tencent. Currently, I work as a freelancer to help Chinese company to adopt open source and inner source. I'm quite familiar with DevOps, AI, and cloud native technologies. Here's my journey of inner source. I'm an active member of InnerSource Commerce since 2018. I help bridge Eastern and Western collaboration practices. I'm also a global speaker. I have shared China InnerSource histories at OSCON, ApacheCon, and the Open Source Summit. I'm the first InnerSource advocate. I'm the first introduce and promote InnerSource in China, and also I'm the China's InnerSource community builder. I have organized the key events like InnerSource Asia Summit 2021 and InnerSource Garen Shenzhen 2024. Here's my picture with Dennis Cooper, the founder and the InnerSource Commerce. Here is one with her at the 2018 Oscar InnerSource Day, and the second uh, is it was in 2019 the Oscar InnerSource Days. Okay, in China, we know that InnerSource has a great value to enterprises. It means cultural shift. It will help to build open, transparent work environment. It can help to build innovation engine because it enables cross-team collaborations and it promotes shared code, less duplicate, and more reuse. And it promotes open collaborations. It helps to break down department silos. In China, we think that open source creates environment where innovation thrives through transparency, fast iteration, and team collaborations. Here is the original of inner source in China. In the year 2011, Tencent pioneers. It first adopted inner source in China through new code culture programs. I'll talk it more in later. And in the year 2014, Huawei, one of the biggest IT company in China, adopted inner source. The implementation focus on code sharing between departments. And in the year 2016, Baidu InnerSource, they want to solve resource limitations through collaborative developments. And since then, in 2018 to current, it got more grass because more and more companies began to know it and adopt it. And I promote it since then. Here is the origin of InnerSource. I divided the InnerSource of journey in China into three parts: the past, present, and the future. The past is the year 2011 to the year 2018, early adoption by three technical companies, including Tencent, Huawei, and Baidu. And after that is present 2018 to 2024. It has get wide industry adoption and mature practices. There are more and more companies began to get familiar with it and began to adopt it. And after that, I call it the future. I hope that it will get more cross-industry growth and global influence. And next, I will show a step-by-step evolution creating China's approach to InnerSource. Okay, here's the past, the pioneer stage for the 2011 to 2018. Tencent, the first one is Tencent. Everyone know Tencent? Tencent is one of the largest internet companies in China and also in the world. The, the most popular of its product is called WeChat. In China, everyone use WeChat to do almost everything. It's a, it's a kind of WhatsApp, Facebook, and Instagram, and YouTube. With WeChat, we call it the super app because we can do almost everything in WeChat. Tencent is the company that behind it. In the year 2011, one of its founder, CTO Tony, Mr. Zhang Zhidong, launched a new code culture. Why? Because he want to promote engineering cultures. He to want to create a open, transparent, collaborative culture for engineers. Since they are all engineered, so code is talk is cheap. Show me the code. They use this philosophy to encourage engineers to show their code across team. They encourage developer inside Tencent to show their code. Most of their projects are plugins, libraries, and frameworks. There are many good projects at that time, and many of them get open source after that. It's the original of Tencent inner source adoption. Why call it bottom up? Because only CTO ask one company to launch the program. Low middle layer match team involved. And here's the story for Tencent. Let's move on to Huawei. Huawei, um, everybody know Huawei. Huawei is the biggest technical companies in China. In the year 2014, they began to adopt inner source top-down. They use top-down strategy. They made inner source a part of cooperative strategy. emphasize visible, accessible, referenceable code philosophies. Because at that time, their developer teams are divided into product team and the platform team. Their product team use the code from the product team to end their customized feature and then release to customers. So uh, they ask the platform team to open source to inner source their code to make their code visible, referenceable, so the product team can see the code and to know what has inside and then make debug more easy. That's why Huawei want to adopt inner source strategy. They want to in an environment that people can see each other's code. After that is Baidu. Baidu uh, adopt inner source since 2016 because they want to solve the problem of platform resource limitations. At that time, there are also some developer team called platform team. The platform team will provide data platform and a computing data form and the AI platform for for their product teams. But the headcount of the product platform team are too limited. They cannot fulfill the needs of the product team. So they install their code and encourage product team to contribute patches to platform teams' products. They want to use these methodologies to solve the problem of uh, resource limits. These three distinct approaches create a foundation for China's unique inner source development path. That's the first stage, the inner source path, the pioneer stage. Three big companies adopt inner source according to their own needs. After that, it can come to the second stage, inner source present, growing adoptions from 2018 to 2024. There are three trends. First, the tech giant's evolution. The three companies have upgraded their inner source strategies. Huawei advanced its policy to inner source 2.0 framework. I will describe more in later slides. And while Tencent has transformed the initiative into their top two strategy priorities, at this time, they don't promote inner source as a bottom up. Instead, they have promote inner source as their company's high priority strategies. And the second, there are also emerging technical companies such as WeBank, Alibaba, Ant Group, ZTE, and Oppo. They all implement a collaboration system across department. They began to adopt inner source methodologies for these companies. And here is the third trend. Some traditional IT industry began to adopt inner source for financial institutions like China's Merchant Bank and the Agricultural Bank of China. They are uh, one of the top five banks in China. They also pioneered in inner source adoptions. At that time, inner source has grown from experimental to mainstream methodologies across multiple industries. And let me look further to the inner source future. I hope that it will expanding horizons. First, uh, industry-wide inner source. For example, many finance companies have discussed the possibility of finance industry inner source. It's, um, it's not open source and it's not inner source in one company. They want to build some inner source just limited to the finance companies, finance industries. Some companies are discuss the possibility to do that, and also the government adoptions. Some government want to uh, improve internal efficiency and transparency in public services, and some state-owned enterprise transformations. They want to support digital transformation in traditional sectors. And the last one is the deeper collaborations. Before, when we talk about inner source, mostly we are talking about the code reuse, code sharing our code itself. But now with AI era, and we want to extending beyond code to data and model coordinations because with that we can make AI more accessible for enterprise users. So the future of inner source in China will be increasingly diverse and profound, contribute unique experience to global practices. Here's one usage of inner source in China. InnerSource is an incubator for open source in China. There's the phrase inner source first, then open source. In China, open inner source often serves as a step-down to open source project because the same practice that make inner source worse also apply to open source. They both require clear documentations, good README files, and quick start documents help a new contributor to get started quickly, establishing the foundation for collaborations and strong review process. They will assign dedicated reviewers, ensure quality code and better teamwork, creating standards that translate well to open source. And also open source ready. What works for inner source also works for open source project. Make the transition from internal to external collaboration seamless. From my understanding, several open source projects that originate from China companies, they are inner sourced their company first, then open source to the external world later. Here is one example. One project called Fairy is a open source project in Ant Group. When the founder of the project want to open source it, the internal support team uh, review the project status. They think that the project team is not ready for open source at that time. So they ask them to inner source it first inside the Ant group internally. The founder of the project inner source code and promote its project internally and found many users and developed them to contributors. After after 2 years, the output the open source program office team review the project's status again, and they think that the project is ready to open source at that time because through these 2 years incubator process, the product team had to get familiar with open source methodologies and have attract many contributors. So ultimate team think it's ready for the project to get open sourced. Then the project Fairy get open source at that time. After that, the project has been contributed to Apache Software Foundation and become a Apache Software Foundation later. That's a good example of how InnerSource can be an incubator for open source. Okay, here I will introduce one case. It's from Huawei because it has spent more than 10 years from year 2014 to 2025. They call their inner source from 1.0 to 2.0. Here's the journey of this company's inner source. In the year 2014, their inner source 1.0 begins, starting by sharing code and projects within platform teams. After that, it had grown, expanded across department, and improved process. After that, they moved to 2.0, mostly in the year 2018. They shift focus to company-wide teamwork and innovations. After that, they upgraded their inner source policy to inner source 2.0. They full upgrade with better collaborations. Since that, they encourage code contribution for this project, not only code sharing. So Huawei has grown from basic code sharing to a completely collaboration system that help teams working better and together. Okay, let me introduce China inner source community since 2019. Currently, the membership has more than 80 active members from across China's technology sectors. Most of them are inner source program office, the consultants, the community managers. The most of them from more than 80, 50 organizations, including Huawei, Tencent, Baidu, Alibaba, Ant Group, ByteDance, Jingdong, Xiaomi, Oppo, and China Mobile, and more. And their activities such as webinar, closed-door meetings, and summits. The community organizer is me, Jerry Tan. I built this community to exchange the tips and the best practice of every company, how they adopt inner source. And if they want meet some problems, we will discuss how to solve it and share experience. Currently, we use it on WeChat groups. And here's one event called InnerSource Gallery Shenzhen 2024. It's a huge event I organized to organize the Chinese InnerSource community to celebrate and to recognize some outstanding companies. And I invited Danny to give a reward. We called it the InnerSource Channel Reward 2024. In this reward ceremony, we have announced two rewards. One is the InnerSource excellence, and the other is InnerSource innovation. There are 7 companies to get this award. For the company who gets the InnerSource excellence, there are Huawei, Tencent, and Baidu. And for the company who get the InnerSource innovations, is their Gongsheng Securities, ZTE, and China Merchants Bank, and Oppos. Here's the good pictures of the winners with me and the CEO of the president of the InnerSource Commerce Foundation, Daniels. Here's the development strategy for InnerSource for China InnerSource strategy communities. I hope that we will encourage more international exchanges. We will active participation in global community like InnerSource Commerce. That's why I participate in this event to describe the history of InnerSource China and the global promotion. I will share China's unique experience on international platforms. Also, I will focus on local community building. I will organize regular workshops, conference, and knowledge sharing meetings. Next, I will make some case studies and education, documentation Chinese practice, and develop training materials for new peoples. Okay, here's all. Thanks for listening. Here's the email address and my link files. Thank you.